This video is about synthetic division, which in certain circumstances is a huge shortcut to dividing polynomials. For this first question, I've done the long division and we're just going to let that sit there for a minute. We're going to come back to that after we do synthetic division and compare the two. So synthetic division is like this sort of magic looking trick that takes this really long process and makes it incredibly short. Synthetic division works specifically when you are dividing by x minus something or x plus something. If this were divided by 2x minus 1 or 3x minus 1, we could not use synthetic division. It has to be a polynomial divided by just x plus or minus something. Otherwise, it doesn't work and you pretty much are using long division. The big key here is we know that when we see x minus 1 as a factor, that's equivalent to x equals 1 as a root. Or if I had x plus 3 as a factor, that would be equivalent to x equals negative 3 as a root. These things are equivalent and these things are equivalent. And that's important because when we set up synthetic division here, what we're going to start from is x equals 1. So here's how you set it up. This is just how it usually looks when people set it up. So that 1 is going to go in its own little box over here. In this space, I'm going to just list out the coefficients only, not the actual x's, just the coefficients. So I'm going to list out 4, negative 2, 1. So this is plus 1x and minus 3. We've got the root or the thing that goes with this factor, and we've got the coefficients listed out. And you can see the title that I put up here, bring down, multiply, add. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to bring down the first number. We're going to multiply that by whatever's in here. And we're going to add vertically. And now we're just going to repeat this process. Multiply, add. Multiply, add. What we get here, that this last line actually represents our answer. And there's a little interpretation to this. Since we started with x cubed, our answer line is going to be something that starts with x squared. So what this row represents now is 4x squared plus 2x plus 3 just as a constant. I said that for what we're doing in this class, there won't be any remainders. If there was a number here, that would be the remainder, but we don't need to worry about that. So first thing you can see is that's the same result. Second thing you can see is that was way quicker. You can imagine that this took a while. And if you look through here, like you see the numbers, they all kind of pop up. They're the same numbers. It's basically synthetic division is just replicating the number stuff that we would do here without having to write everything out. So it really does seem like kind of a magic trick. Let's do a couple more of these just to get you a little bit more familiar with synthetic division. This is x plus 2, which is equivalent to saying that x would equal negative 2. So I'll set up the coefficients 1, positive 7, negative 7, negative 55, negative 42. Bring down the first one. And now we're just going to multiply, add until we're done. So multiply, add vertically, multiply, add vertically, multiply, add vertically. So I'll be careful with this one. This should be minus 21. Multiply, positive 42, add vertically. So this again would be the remainder. The fact that there's no remainder shows us that this does in fact go in evenly. since we started with x to the fourth, our answer would start with x to the third. So 1x to the third plus 5x squared minus 17x minus 21. That's the answer to this division question. And we'll do one more. So I'll just set this up. This is equivalent to x equals -3. So -3 goes in the box. Okay, coefficients. 1, 3. We mentioned with long division, and it's the same thing here. You can't skip any. So we have to notice this goes from x cubed directly to x. That means there's 0x squared that has to be included. So there are all the coefficients. Okay, bring the first one down. Now we know the process. Multiply, add vertically, multiply, add vertically, multiply, add vertically, multiply, add vertically. Since we started with x to the fourth, our answer starts with x to the third because we're just dividing out a single x. So that would be 1x cubed, no x squareds, no x's, minus 8. And that would be our solution. So that's synthetic division. It sort of looks like a magic trick. And in the right circumstances, when you're dividing a polynomial by just x plus or minus something, it makes that process so much faster and so much easier.